Welcome back to our channel, your ultimate destination for all the juiciest daytime drama updates. It is a fantastic day to dive deep into the scandalous, high-stakes world of Genoa City, and we have an absolutely explosive update for you today. Imagine the golden boy of the Abbott dynasty completely losing his mind, throwing all his refined manners out the window, and resorting to raw, unadulterated violence. That is exactly what we are about to witness, and let me tell you, the fallout is going to shake the very foundations of Genoa City. When a mother goes missing, a son's love can quickly turn into a lethal weapon, and Patty Williams is about to find herself staring directly down the barrel of Kyle Abbott's absolute fury. The tension has been building for days, and the explosion we are about to see is nothing short of cinematic perfection. For 2 agonizing days, Diane Jenkins Abbott has vanished without a single trace. No phone calls, no appearances at Abbott, and her side of the bed in the Abbott mansion remains completely untouched. For a woman who once famously faked her own death and caused years of torment for her family, a sudden disappearance is more than enough to send shivers down anyone's spine. But Kyle knows his mother better than anyone. He knows how incredibly hard she has fought to reclaim her life, her marriage to Jack, and her standing in the community. She would not just walk away from everything she has painstakingly rebuilt unless something highly sinister forced her hand. The silence is deafening, and the panic inside the Abbott estate has reached a terrifying boiling point. Jack is already losing his grip on reality, especially after receiving that incredibly disturbing, cryptic floral arrangement from Patty Williams. But while Jack is pacing the floors, drowning in his own paranoia, Kyle is taking a much darker, much more direct approach to solving this mystery. Kyle Abbott is not just a polished corporate executive, he is a fiercely protective son who has watched his mother endure endless attacks from all sides. He knows the dark, twisted history of Patty Williams. He knows her obsessive, deeply disturbed fixation on his father Jack, and her deeply rooted, venomous hatred for Diane. Patty has always been the ultimate wild card in Genoa City, a woman whose fragile mental state makes her capable of unspeakable acts of vengeance. In Kyle's mind, the math is horrifyingly simple. Patty is back in town, Patty hates Diane, Patty wants Jack, and now Diane is gone. The sheer terror of losing his mother again after spending so many years mourning her when he was just a child is a trauma that Kyle simply cannot process rationally. That childhood wound has been ripped wide open, bleeding out into a blinding, uncontrollable rage. He is not thinking like a CEO right now, he is thinking like a desperate, terrified little boy who will do absolutely whatever it takes to get his mother back. Driven by this primal, protective instinct, Kyle embarks on a frantic hunt across Genoa City to track down Patty's current hideout. He completely bypasses the police, knowing that Paul Williams' sister often slips through the cracks of the justice system due to her mental health history. Kyle wants answers, and he wants them now, without the red tape of search warrants, lawyers, or polite questioning. When he finally locates the secluded, shadowy room where Patty has been laying low, the atmosphere is thick with a suffocating tension. The air feels heavy as Kyle stands outside the door, his heart pounding a frantic rhythm against his ribs. He does not knock. He does not announce himself. He simply kicks the door open, his eyes blazing with a terrifying, unhinged fury that we have rarely seen from the usually composed Abbott heir. Patty is standing there in the dim light, looking as deceptively innocent and simultaneously unhinged as ever. She barely has time to register the violent intrusion before Kyle is across the room, closing the distance between them in a split second. The verbal assault is immediate, loud, and deafening. He screams at her, his voice cracking with desperation and rage, demanding to know exactly what she has done with Diane. He hurls accusations like daggers, bringing up every sick, twisted game she has ever played with his family over the decades. But Patty, in her classic, maddening fashion, just looks at him. She does not cower. She does not flinch. Instead, she meets his blazing anger with this chilling, vacant stare, acting as if he is nothing more than a minor, buzzing insect interrupting her peaceful day. This complete lack of empathy, this defiant nonchalance, is the exact spark that ignites the powder keg of Kyle's self-control. In a shocking, violent escalation that crosses every boundary, Kyle completely loses it. He lunges forward, his hands grasping Patty roughly as he shoves her violently against the wall. The impact is loud, jarring, and terrifying. He pins her there, his grip tight and unforgiving, his face mere inches from hers. You can practically feel the heat of his anger radiating off the screen. He is shaking, his knuckles white, as he snarls into her face, threatening to end her if she does not spit out the truth right this very second. This is not a negotiation anymore. This is a hostage situation, and Kyle is the one holding the emotional gun. He is trying to physically squeeze the truth out of her, demanding the exact location of his mother, absolutely convinced that Patty has locked Diane away in some dark, forgotten hole to suffer. But here is the most terrifying part of this entire intense scene. Patty does not break. Pinned against the wall by a furious, desperate man who is physically overpowering her, Patty remains defiantly, chillingly calm. She actually seems to thrive on the chaos and the physical threat. Her eyes lock onto Kyle's, and she vehemently denies having anything to do with Diane's disappearance. She plays the ultimate victim, acting as though Kyle is a madman attacking an innocent woman who has spent months trying to prove she is fully rehabilitated. She taunts him, her voice dripping with that sickeningly sweet tone she uses when she is playing her darkest games. She tells him he is just as paranoid and delusional as his father, asserting that the Abbotts are always looking for a scapegoat for their own miserable, broken lives. She refuses to give him the satisfaction of fear, which only makes Kyle press harder, his desperation turning into a dangerous, suffocating physical threat that could end in tragedy. Just when it seems like Kyle might actually cross a line he can never come back from, Patty changes her tactic. Realizing that a flat denial is only fueling his rage, she drops a subtle, maddeningly vague breadcrumb. She does not confess to kidnapping Diane, but she mutters a cryptic, confusing statement or riddle wrapped in a denial. She hints that maybe Diane finally realized she was never meant for the grandeur of the Abbott mansion. Or perhaps she suggests that the ghosts of the past have finally caught up with Diane's fragile conscience. It is one of those classic Patty Williams psychological mind games, a sentence perfectly designed to plant a toxic seed of doubt and confusion in Kyle's already fractured mind. She implies that she knows a lot more about Diane's current fragile state than she is letting on. But she stops just short of admitting any actual guilt or providing a concrete location for Kyle to investigate. The cryptic clue acts like a bucket of ice water on Kyle's raging fire. He realizes, with a sickening drop in his stomach, that he is not going to beat the truth out of a woman who has spent half her life navigating the complex corridors of psychiatric wards. Patty's mind is a labyrinth, and physical force is not the key to navigating it. In fact, it only makes her stronger. Disgusted, exhausted, and still burning with unresolved fury, Kyle abruptly releases his grip on her. He steps back, his chest heaving as he tries to catch his breath, pointing a trembling finger at her as he delivers a final, chilling ultimatum. He vows that if he finds out she has harmed even a single hair on Diane's head, he will personally destroy her, making sure she never sees the light of day again. With a final venomous glare, Kyle storms out of the room, slamming the door behind him, leaving a heavy, toxic silence in his wake. He is leaving to continue his frantic search, more determined than ever to rip the truth out of the shadows. But the camera lingers on Patty, and this is where the true horror of the scene sets in. As the sound of Kyle's heavy footsteps fades down the hallway, the facade of the frightened, misunderstood woman completely melts away. Slowly, a deeply unsettling, mysterious smile creeps across her face. It is a smile that promises absolute devastation and revels in the pain of others. She smooths down her clothes, completely unfazed by the violent physical assault she just endured. That smile implies everything we need to know. Patty Williams is holding a massive, explosive secret. Even if she did not physically kidnap Diane, because we know Diane is actually hiding in emotional despair after that horrific nightmare about Jack and Patty clearly knows exactly how to use this situation to her absolute advantage. She is relishing the pain of the Abbott family, savoring the chaos like a fine wine, and preparing her next devastating move. Honestly, watching this unfold is going to be incredibly intense, and I have to give my honest, personal commentary on these characters right now. Let us talk about Kyle first. I absolutely love seeing this raw, unfiltered, and dangerous side of him. For so long, Kyle has been the polished, sometimes overly arrogant corporate player, always trying to emulate Victor Newman's business ruthlessness or Jack's smooth diplomacy. But this is visceral. This is a boy fighting for his mother's life. It is heartbreaking but also slightly terrifying to see how quickly he resorts to physical violence against a woman, even one as dangerous as Patty. It shows how deeply traumatized he still is from his childhood loss. As for Patty, she is the ultimate villain we love to hate, and you have to respect her absolute mastery of psychological warfare. The way she is written and portrayed is a brilliant mix of vulnerability and pure, unadulterated menace. Patty is a broken woman, yes, but she is also an apex predator who knows exactly where to strike to inflict the maximum amount of emotional damage. She is playing chess while Kyle is throwing the board across the room, and it is a fascinating, terrifying dynamic to watch unfold on our screens. So, what is going to happen next in this twisted Genoa City saga? I predict that Kyle's violent confrontation is going to backfire spectacularly. Patty is not the type to just let a physical assault slide. She will absolutely weaponize this encounter. She will likely use Kyle's loss of control to paint herself as the ultimate victim, perhaps even go into the police or Victor Newman to claim that the Abbotts are violently harassing her. This will only draw more negative attention to the family while Diane remains missing. Meanwhile, Kyle is going to tear the city apart looking for his mother, totally unaware that Diane is hiding because of a tragic miscommunication with Jack over a missed voicemail. When Jack finds out that his son physically attacked Patty, it is going to cause a massive rift between them, as Jack might fear Kyle is jeopardizing any chance they have of finding Diane safely. And when Diane finally emerges from her self-imposed exile, the guilt she will feel for causing her son to snap like this will be absolutely crushing for her to bear. The drama is reaching an absolute fever pitch, and the Abbott family is standing right on the edge of a very dark, very dangerous precipice. Kyle's violent outburst proves that in Genoa City, love and desperation can turn even the best of us into monsters when our family is threatened. What do you think about Kyle crossing the line and getting physical with Patty? And do you think Patty is secretly pulling the strings of Diane's disappearance? Drop your thoughts, theories, and outrage in the comments section below. And make sure to share this article with your fellow daytime drama addicts so we can all dissect this explosive confrontation together.